Okay, so now you have installed Paging Polly, you have inputted an open router key, and so now we're going to go into how to create your first project. So to start off, you're going to have a author profile. So you're going to hit new author. There'll be a new author center button when you first come in. I already tried putting a one of these together already, so I already have one. You can put your genre if you want. You can put your bio if you want. You can fill out these links if you want, and also insert your logo. And then you're just going to hit create author. The majority of this author profile is going to be used in the formatting stage once we have author bio pages and things like that. But right now it is already in here so that we have that infrastructure set up. Create author. Now we're here. If we go over to the library page, we can now create our first project. So we're just going to put in test project. We're going to go ahead and input a name. We're going to say short story. 10,000. Let's do 5. All right. And then we have a AI system prompt. So this is really helpful with how the AI is going to treat its job, essentially, as it is doing generations with you. So I have one for paranormal romance with horror elements, and I will be having some test AI system prompts that I would recommend, and we can go from, you can use one of those. So those will be available shortly in the Discord. You can also put a little blurb if you would like and what genre it is. And then you can also have a cover image, so upload from device. You can pop that there. It will take a second. Oh, it is taking a second today. I actually already have this. There we go. Oh, it was just loading. I'm just impatient. That's all that is. Okay, and then we are going to go ahead and create project. Projects here. Open this up. We have the manuscript folder and 5 chapters, which is great. This manuscript folder, one of the reasons I recommend doing the set number of chapters, even if it's just a starter number, one is it's just more convenient than creating a gajillion chapters as you go, in my opinion anyway. And 2, it's so that the manuscript folder is properly set up because that is what will be used when you do exports. So it is important that this manuscript folder is set up. You can put non-chapters into the manuscript folder. It will only pull chapter file types. So this is a chapter file type with this icon here, and it will only export those. So if I convert this to an idea or a note, it will no longer export that. It has to be a chapter. So if you want to create a new chapter, this right here, this little plus button does a new chapter. There we go. It just froze a little bit here. And then you have a new chapter. If you create a new document, new note, there's a new note. And so forth and so forth. So I'm going to have an idea here as we go through and test the generation really quickly. So we have already set up our open router key back here. So we are going to now select a model so that you can see what that looks like. So it says select model because we haven't set our default or our favorites for the open router. So if I go back to settings and AI settings, if I scroll down here, I don't have a default and I don't have any favorites set. So I'm just going to set a default and I'm just going to set it to one of the llama models. I'm going to set it to Maverick. It will show the context length, how much it costs. This is one of the free models. And then I'm just going to add in AI on for not safe for work. Save. I'm going to then do, well, Claude's right here. So we're going to save Claude as an overall favorite. Did we have an haiku? Also an overall favorite. And then from here, I'm just going to type in a couple of my others. So I do like Grok 4, also for safe for work or violence. So you can save that. Let's see, what are some of the other ones? Oh, I like Gemini Pro for doing planning. So analysis and planning, I really love Gemini for that. So we can go ahead and put him here. And we can also add GPT-5. Honestly, I like this as an overall, but I also really do like that. I feel like GPT-5 has done more with dialogue. It's not necessarily doing better with description, but if you want a little dialogue zhuzhing, if you will, I do actually really like it for the banter in particular, I feel like GPT-5 is doing better with. So here we go. You don't need to click save or anything else. Once you have selected a default, it saves automatically. So we can go ahead and hit back to project, and we're back here. So I'm going to pull up one of my PDFs that has a whole bunch of prompts in it that I will be given to you guys. So we can go two different ways. Essentially, all of the documents are chat windows. So if you need help conceptualizing what this is, essentially this is a chat window. So I can just come over here and grab a prompt, and I can paste it in here. This is a prompt. It says, give me 10 high concept paranormal romance pitches. I can hit a space so that it doesn't start generating inline. I can go to prompts. I can go to general, and I can go words before, which I think I actually just have as go now in the new defaults. But I can just do go words before. Oh, I have this. There are two different settings to the AI prompts. I'm going to go more in depth on this when we get more into the generation. But there is classic, which shows you a preview before it sends through. So it shows what the prompt is. This is helpful for the more detailed prompts so that you can actually see what's sending. And then you'd hit execute to go. And I go words before. It's going to just run as if I was doing a chat. So essentially words before is your enter button in any chat window, right? So if I was in ChatGPT or Claude, go words before would be essentially hitting enter into a chat window. And if I hit approve, now I have 10 high concept pitches for a paranormal romance with horror. Now, this is something that I really want to go over in more depth later on when we go into, the best practices for prompting. But having something like this that is a prompt that you grab from somewhere, right? Whether it's from me or somebody else, the problem with this is that there are kind of so many versions that is going to come out with. I've done a lot of testing with prompts like this just to test generation and get things working properly in Paging Polly. And as a result, I have seen that it cycles through like kind of a handful of ideas and kind of just mixes and matches. This is essentially a word generator at the end of the day, and it will only do so much if this is exactly what you're giving. If we come into, I don't have the brainstorm one in this. So I have a brainstorm version of this that I am going to actually import in really quickly. So this is already saved. So I'm going to go to settings, prompts. I'm going to import JSON prompts. I think this should be it. Let's see. Yes. Okay. Now I have brainstorm prompts. And that's how easy it is to import prompts, by the way. Okay, so we're going to go back to project. So now I have brainstorm. So this right here, and I'm in the quick mode. I want to be in the classic. So classic gives me a preview before it sends to the AI. I've been doing too many videos. My tongue is twisted. So the quick is going to shoot the prompt off, essentially like a plot drive button. And then this one is classic. It's going to give me a preview first. So I'm going to do this. So this shows that this is the seed idea seed is words before. And then it has the exact same prompt. It has the exact same prompt that I used right here, basically. Generate 10 high concept. 10 high concept. Okay. But if I go back, hold on. And I'm going to just delete all of this. I'm going to have an idea seed, which I am going to grab as a scene starter. So, boop. Okay. So I have this scene starter. This is now my words before. So if I come back here and I go here, you will see that this has a check mark because there are words before because I clicked past this. And now it says the idea seed is this invitation was written in her own handwriting, but she had no memory of sending it or the castle it led her to. And now, based on this, generate 10 high concept paranormal pitches. This idea seed is what's going to differentiate your project from anyone else using this prompt. And so this is where we have the prompt library, and why we have the prompt library is it gives you the ability to have these prompts saved, but have nuance to it and have something that is going to give you something fresh and new each time. Those idea seeds are going to be what does that. So again, I can hit execute prompt, and it will come up with 10 high concept premises based on that scene starter. Okay, and I can go ahead and hit approve. It will now show me the pretty version. And now if I come down here, and I'm going to come back into the main, and I'm going to go to general, and I'm going to have it on the fast setting now, because now if I just hit go words before, it will again end up like a chat. Sorry, I'm moving my drink really quick. So from here, let's say I'm going to grab another one of my workflow prompts, which is going to have it look at which of these concepts, I'm going to paste it in here, which of these concepts feels most emotionally resonant, expand on that chosen concept with 3 different variations. So I am now just going to go words before. And it is going to say, okay, I really like the echoing invitation, which I'm curious. So it has a tendency also to pick the first one. With the free models, it probably wouldn't do that if I was on a paid model. Now it's going to give me 3 variations. I'm going to hit approve, and we're now chugging along. So I can just keep chatting with this window with the go words before, and this is essentially a chat window. So that just takes a little bit of the confusion, hopefully, away for you guys from using something like Claude in Claude Pro in a chat versus coming into Paging Polly and having a little bit more control, but also fully being able to use it more similarly to when you were using something like Claude. So you can chat in these documents. The great part about that, though, that you do not get with a Claude chat, and this is where I prefer this strongly, is as you are going way longer. So let's say we've been having this chat and I've been working out the details of this project of, echoing invitation. Now I have, if I were in Claude, I have all of these concepts I didn't choose. Maybe I even have a direction I didn't choose. So maybe I start talking further on into the psychological horror aspect. And I go, you know what? I'd really rather have supernatural horror or body horror variation, right? And I've been answering questions and I've been like, you know what? Let's not do that. A lot of times what happens is you will have in the chat, it'll be like, well, now that we're not going in the psychological horror direction and we're going in body horror, XYZ. And that can end up with problems if you are then writing the chapters, because you can actually get little artifacts, especially as the chat gets longer and longer, where it is hallucinating the exact things you did not want in there. But in Paging Polly, I can remove all of this. So I can say we're going in the body horror direction, and I don't need any of these because I'm only going with echoing invitation. I don't need that information, and then I can answer these questions, right? And then I'm working only with the choices I made. So as you fine tune those choices, as you go through those questions with the AI, you can then fine tune so that only the choices that you actually went with are being carried over. And you can remove those things not just at the end, but you can remove them in the middle and even make edits to this. So if you didn't like something that it gave you, you can then edit what it gave you and then proceed in with the chat as if it had been the one that generated that. So we're going to go deeper into workflow and how I really write a book in Paging Polly, but this gives you an idea and a starting place of how to use Paging Polly very similarly to what you would be doing in Claude, but with more control and with more nuance that you can really fine tune as you go. Okay, and we will see you in the next video.